In this video, we will be covering the basic configuration steps for managing roles in FreezerPro. This will largely take place in the Settings and Preferences section of FreezerPro and will require administrative privileges and access rights. For configuration tools, expand the Settings and Preferences section. In this section, you may manage users, roles, user groups, sample types, sample source types, user-defined fields, box types, report templates, aliquoting templates, and system preferences. To continue with configuration, we will discuss how to manage user roles. Double-click on the Roles tab to open the Roles configuration window. Each user in FreezerPro software is assigned a user role, which designates which actions they are permitted to perform within the software. To begin with, the system includes an administrator, manager, power user, user, and guest role, each with less permissions than the first. In general, the administrator has access to the entire system, while the manager has access to everything but the system preferences. The power user will have some managerial permissions, the user will be permitted to work with and view core components of the system, and the guest will be permitted to view only a few components of the system. Each user role can be modified and customized to fit your lab management needs. In this view, we can add, delete, and edit roles by selecting their respective tools. We may also refresh the view should we expect any changes to be made by a different user while we are viewing the list. To add a role, select the Add Role tool at the top of the view. To assign a name to the new role, simply enter the text into the role name text box. Once you have assigned a name to the new role, you may select which role rights this role is given. For more administrative and managerial type roles, it is good practice to include rights that allow you to manage the system. For more user-based type roles, it is a good practice to include rights that allow you to work with the system. To finalize your new role, select the Add button. It may be necessary to edit a role at some point. In order to do this, you may select a role in the view and then select the Properties tool in the toolbar. Additionally, you may right-click on the role and select the Properties tool. When in the editing window, you may change the name of the role and any of the rights associated with that role. You may choose to add or remove specific role rights by checking or unchecking the On/Off button located on the left side of the edit window. When any changes are made, you may finalize them by selecting the Save button. If at any time it becomes necessary to delete a user role, the Delete Role tool may be used. To delete a role, simply select it in the view and then select the Delete Role tool in the top of the menu bar. Additionally, you may select the role and right-click and select the Delete Role button. It is important to note that user roles cannot be deleted from the system if they are in use, meaning if there are users in the system that have been assigned that role. It is possible to see how many users are utilizing each role by checking the In Use column. To delete a role that is in use by other users, you will first need to assign each respective user a different role. Remember, this can be performed in the Edit User window. For a recap of this, please view the Managing Users video tutorial. The last option in the toolbar is to refresh the view. This is a useful tool as it will help assure that all changes regarding roles in the system are current should another administrator be making changes while you are viewing or editing roles. To refresh the view, simply select the Refresh button at the top of the toolbar. This concludes the general configuration managing roles video tutorial. Up next, we will discuss managing user groups. To review, roles can be managed in the Settings and Preferences section. You may add, delete, and edit roles, as well as refresh the management window. Roles are used to designate which actions a user is permitted to perform in the system. There is no limit to the number of roles that you may have in your system, and each role may have a single or many role rights.